If your body feels completely exhausted but your brain is stuck in anxiety mode, like it missed the memo that it's time to shut down, there's a reason for that. And it's not because you're weak, broken, or bad at handling stress. And yeah, if you want the full reset that actually fixes this instead of just helping you survive it, I laid it all out step by step in the guide. But even before that, this explanation alone usually gives people that, oh, that explains everything, moment, because what you're dealing with isn't random. It's a mismatch inside your nervous system. Here's what's actually going on. Physical exhaustion and nervous system calm are not the same thing. You can be dead tired on a muscular level and still be chemically, neurologically, fully on edge. Most people assume anxiety means energy and fatigue means calm, but that's not how the body works. Your muscles can be empty while your nervous system is still screaming, stay alert. And when that happens, rest becomes impossible, even though you desperately need it. During the day, your system runs in what I'd call a low-grade emergency mode. Not full panic, not heart-racing terror, just constant readiness. You're solving problems, responding to demands, tracking responsibilities, holding things together. Even when nothing dramatic is happening, your system is still scanning, still monitoring, still preparing. That mode burns through physical energy fast, which is why your body feels wiped. But it never gives your nervous system the signal that it's safe to stand down. So by the time evening hits, you're exhausted but not settled. Your body wants to collapse, but your brain doesn't trust that it's allowed to. And when the brain doesn't trust rest, it replaces it with vigilance. That's the anxiety. Not because something bad is happening right now, but because your system learned that staying alert is how you survive. This is why lying down often makes things worse. You finally stop moving, everything gets quiet, and suddenly the anxiety gets louder. Your chest feels tight, your thoughts race, your breathing feels shallow. It feels backward, but it makes perfect sense. Stillness removes distraction, and your nervous system uses that moment to dump everything it's been holding back all day. A lot of people try to fix this by forcing relaxation, deep breaths, meditation apps, telling themselves to calm down. And sometimes that helps a little, but often it backfires, because you're trying to calm a system that doesn't feel safe enough to calm. From the nervous system's point of view, anxiety isn't the problem, it's the solution. It's how it keeps you functional when it doesn't believe rest is an option. Here's the part that's usually new for people. Anxiety at night or during rest is often a delayed stress response. You didn't process stress when it happened, because you were busy coping, so your system saved it for later. And later is when you finally stop. That's why your body feels drained and your mind feels wired at the same time. Two different systems, two different timelines. This also explains why scrolling, videos, background noise, or constant stimulation feel so tempting in this state. Not because you're avoiding sleep or addicted to distraction, but because those things give your nervous system something predictable to latch onto. They reduce internal scanning, they lower the volume just enough for you to function, but they don't resolve the underlying state, they just keep it contained. And no, this isn't something coffee, supplements, or sheer willpower fixes. You can't out-discipline a nervous system. You can only retrain it. Pills might blunt the edge, but they don't teach your system how to feel safe again. That's why people get stuck in this loop for years, thinking they're tired but anxious by nature, when really their system just never learned how to complete stress and return to baseline. Another thing most people miss is that the nervous system doesn't calm down because the day is over. It calms down when it receives clear signals that the threat window is closed. Most modern lives don't provide those signals. We go straight from responsibility to collapse, without a real transition. So the system stays open, and an open system can't rest. This is where the concept of closing the stress loop becomes critical. Stress is supposed to have an end. Movement, breathing, grounding, orientation, these are the things the body uses to signal completion. If those never happen, the stress just lingers in the background. In the guide, I walk through exactly how to create the closure in a way your nervous system actually understands, not in a fluffy self-care way, but in a biological one. When you start doing this right, something interesting happens. Your body still feels tired, but the anxiety starts to lose its grip. Not instantly, not magically, but noticeably. Your chest loosens. Your thoughts slow down. The urge to constantly distract yourself weakens, and rest stops feeling dangerous. One of the biggest shifts people report is realizing they weren't anxious people. They were overextended people with nervous systems that never got permission to shut off. Anxiety was the alarm system, not the identity. This also explains why pushing harder usually makes things worse. If you're already exhausted and anxious, adding more discipline, more pressure, more self-criticism just reinforces the threat signal. The system doubles down. What it needs instead is evidence of safety, consistency, and completion. And this is important. Safety doesn't mean comfort. It means predictability. It means your body learning, through repeated experience, that nothing bad happens when you slow down, that you don't fall apart, that you don't lose control, that things don't collapse if you rest. That learning process is gradual, but it's very real, and it's trainable. If you've ever had moments where, after a vacation or a few unusually calm days, you suddenly felt like yourself again. That wasn't a coincidence. That was your nervous system briefly dropping out of survival mode. The goal isn't to escape your life to feel okay. It's to teach your system that your normal life doesn't require constant defense. This is why I keep pointing people back to the guide, not as a pitch, but because most advice stops at awareness. Awareness is helpful, but it doesn't rewire anything by itself. The guide is about the sequence: what to do first, what not to do too early, how to stop accidentally reinforcing anxiety while trying to fix it. So if your body is exhausted and your brain is anxious, don't ask, "What's wrong with me?" Ask, "What has my system been protecting me from for too long?" Because that question leads to solutions instead of shame. You're not failing at rest. Your nervous system just hasn't been taught how to feel safe enough to let go. Once that changes, the exhaustion starts turning into real recovery, and the anxiety stops running the show. And when that happens, rest finally feels like rest instead of another thing you can't quite reach.